News every 15 minutes, weather every 10, and sports twice an hour.
Newstalk, KGVO, AM 1290 and now 101.5 FM.
You're listening to Montana Morning with Peter Christian.
Missoula School Board nominates an interim superintendent. Good morning, everyone. It's Montana Morning. It is Thursday, April the 30th, 2015. It's going to be another beautiful day in western Montana. Sky's already clear. Sun's up. We've got 37 degrees in Missoula. Newscast is sponsored by AB Technology Solutions. They're offering backup and disaster recovery, remote support, and monitoring. Find them online at abtechnologysolutions.com. The Missoula County Schools Board of Trustees voted unanimously, almost, to confirm the selection of Mark Thane as the interim superintendent of School District 1 last night. Thane said the $158 million school bond looms ahead as the major challenge you'll be facing, replacing Dr. Alex Apostle.
I think the community just needs to develop a level of awareness regarding the condition of facilities, the safety and security concerns that we have, and certainly the need for technology infrastructure. I think if we can appropriately message that, the community will come to understand the need.
Thane, the only applicant for the job, said the bond issue is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to build and remodel elementary and high schools.
But I know that we have one shot at this major facility project, and if we don't position ourselves appropriately and communicate appropriately with the community, we won't be successful.
There was only one no vote, and that came from School Board President Dr. Joseph Knapp, who spoke glowingly of Thane during the entire meeting. Knapp explained his no vote.
It's not a vote against Mark Thane. It's a vote on the contract being offered to Mark Thane, which I think, from two perspectives. First of all, from the salary level, for what's going to be expected of him in the position over the next year. My vote is against the package that's being presented to him.
Thane will be paid $145,000 per year as an interim plus benefits, while Apostle was receiving well over $200,000 after his last controversial raise. Apostle will be heading to his new job in Shelton, Washington in June. A man who pleaded guilty to raping and sexually abusing two girls repeatedly over the course of a decade has been sentenced to 30 years in prison. The Billings Gazette reports District Judge Gregory Todd yesterday sentenced 54-year-old Franz Joseph Diangson to concurrent 40-year prison sentences with 10 years suspended for each of 7 felony charges, 6 of sexual intercourse without consent and 1 of sexual assault. Charging documents allege Diangson began sexually abusing one girl in 1997 when she was only 10 and continued until she was 17. The second said she was abused from age 8 to 14. Diangson said he was to blame for his actions. Authorities say a hardened man left his fatally injured 6-year-old daughter lying on the floor for 2 hours before seeking medical aid that would have saved her life. Bighorn County prosecutors have charged Clint Vance Hogan with negligent homicide and obstructing justice in the death of Kiomora Kiki Hogan. His girlfriend, Kristen Oldbull, has pleaded not guilty to deliberate homicide. Prosecutors said Oldbull struck the child with a fatal blow on March the 2nd. Missoula Ranger District will be hoping to start on some prescribed burning up Blue Mountain today. Boyd Hartwig with the Lolo National Forest has these details.
Blue Mountain area, Missoula Ranger District. It's an area that they've been doing some burning for several years. It's a multi-year program to reduce surface fuels and promote things like ponderosa pine regeneration. So if weather conditions cooperate, looks like there's some possibilities of some gusty winds, so they'll definitely be paying attention to that.
Hartwig says if the winds do persist and the conditions aren't right, a decision will be made early today whether to go ahead or postpone the burning.
It's going to be 2 burns potentially over multiple days. One unit is 80 acres and the other is 87, and both are kind of located northwest of the main Blue Mountain trailhead. There will be some potential impacts to some trails in that area, but those trails will be assigned and there'll be folks up there. We make sure that we mark those areas and to advise folks of ongoing burning operations and then on the road too.
Anyone traveling near Blue Mountain trailhead today says use caution as forest vehicles be moving in and out of that area. U.S. Senators John Tester and Steve Daines both asking Congress to approve a water rights settlement with the Blackfeet tribe that's been languishing in the works for more than 3 decades. Montana senators said in a joint statement yesterday it was time for lawmakers to act on a settlement, first brought to Congress back in 2010. The proposed Blackfeet Water Rights Settlement Act would establish the tribe's right to water within its northwestern Montana reservation and rehabilitate the Four Horns Dam and Blackfeet Irrigation Project. Negotiations on the agreement began more than 30 years ago. It was approved by the state legislature in 2009. Lower oil prices are cutting deep into the activity of Montana's oil and gas industry. It could soon impact the economy in a big way. Dave Galt, executive director of the Montana Petroleum Industry, pointed out that just this month, the last oil rig drilling in Montana went offline.
In the past 4 years or so, we've been inching up with our oil production in Montana, and we've been running about 12 to 13 rigs, pretty stable for the last 3 or 4 years. As the price declined in late 2014, new well drilling in Montana is stopped right now, really, with 0 rigs drilling.
These oil rigs drill anywhere between 8 and 12 new wells per year, and with each new well comes a sizable economic impact.
A new well would support an additional $665,000 in new wages for drilling and extraction workers. One additional productive well increases Montana's gross output by $9 million and adds $3.6 million to Montana's gross domestic product, produces an additional $1.5 million in wages while supporting an additional 33 jobs.
According to Galt, the number of Montana oil rigs dropped from 13 to 0 in just 9 months. He said the disappearance of the rigs will lead to production declines by the end of this year. University of Montana announced the commencement speaker for the 118th annual graduation ceremonies. Peggy Kaur, Vice President for Integrated Communications, has more.
We have invited Ambassador Max Bacchus to give the commencement address, and he has accepted, so we're excited that he will be back in Missoula in mid-May. It's in Washington Grizzlies Stadium, and that is regardless of the weather.
Commencement is set for Saturday, May 16th. Search and rescue teams from Lake and Sanders counties are looking for a 20-year-old Ronan man who went missing over the weekend. Sanders County officials say Troy Akers was one of 4 men who were driving the back roads on the Flathead Indian Reservation Sunday when their vehicle broke down. Akers somehow became separated from the rest of the men who called 911 to report they were lost. A search helicopter located them Sunday night. They were taken to a Missoula hospital for treatment of hypothermia. Officials searched Monday, Tuesday, and Sheriff Tom Rummel told Kerr AM and Jeff Smith that 25 people from 4 agencies continued searching yesterday. Bell says the search is centered on a mountaintop that straddles the Lake and Sanders County line northwest of Arlee. Our News Talk time now is 6:12.
Newstalk, KGVO.
Missoula's official weather station.
Ample sunshine today with our highs topping out in the mid-60s. Winds will be out of the west at 5 to 15 miles per hour. Mostly clear and cool tonight with our lows in the mid-30s. I'm meteorologist Brooke Foster for KECI 13, your first alert station.